I'm back. School's a pain. So let's get this over with. This is going to be what if Deku had a gravity quirk, or just had gravity manipulation. Alright, let's do this. First of all, I'm going to change Hisashi Midoriya's quirk. So his quirk is basically going to be the opposite of Uraraka's quirk. He can make things heavier. Whenever he touches, he can make heavier. Like if he touched a pencil, he can make it weigh a ton. Just pull the ultimate prank ever. And once he touches it again, he can make it return to its original weight. Pull the ultimate prank on someone. That quirk. Sorry. All right, let's get this. Let's do this. He's gonna still be out overseas doing whatever he's doing. Supposedly he's doing work. We don't know. We don't know what he's doing. He could have another He could have two families, for all we know. Anyway, okay, stop it. Stop ranting. Anyway. Alright, let's get into this. We start off in kindergarten with Bakugo being an asshole. Or actually, no, we start off with... Actually, I'm doing this on the fly, so just give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Figured out where I should start at. So, we're actually going to start out when Izuku is about 4, when he's about to go to sleep. So, Inko tells him to get ready for bed, so he does. He goes to sleep. Cut to a few hours later, Inko hears a noise coming from Izuku's room. So Inko goes to check it out, and what she sees kind of shocks her a little bit. She sees Izuku and a lot of other objects in the room just kind of floating around, as if there was absolutely no gravity in the room. Because at that point, there wasn't a lot of gravity in the room. So what she does is she grabs Izuku, puts him back in the bed. He just kind of starts floating up again. Or actually, no, he wouldn't. He would actually, once she puts him back in the bed, he would just kind of start free-floating a bit. Start moving around again. And after a few tries of doing this, Inko just decides to wake up Izuku. And as soon as Izuku wakes up, everything in the room falls. Or actually no. When Izuku wakes up, and he sees his mom, and then he thinks, is it just me, or am I taller? Did I get taller? And then he looks down, and he sees he's floating. He gets a little scared. He freaks out, and once he does that, everything falls, including him. But Inko, having the ultra instinct powers that she has, she immediately catches Izuku and tells him to go back to sleep, and that they're gonna go to the quirk doctor tomorrow. Cut to the next day, where they're at the quirk doctor. After a few tests, they come back, and the doctor says, Well, Miss Midoriya, it seems your son has a gravity manipulation quirk. The most powerful I've seen. At this point, he seems to be able to control all aspects of gravity itself, even getting rid of it completely. Getting rid of it completely and changing the direction of it. I've never seen this before. I think your son will be a very great hero one day. And those words make Izuku's face light up. He's holding on to his All Might toy. And if you saw it, it would be the cutest thing you've ever seen. Because let's face it, 4-year-old Midoriya is the most cute thing you've ever seen ever. You can't change my mind. Skip to the next day when they're at school and everybody's showing off their quirks. Bakugo's showing off his little firework hands or whatever it was at that point, and he thinks he's hot shit. He thinks he's top dog. Izuku sees this. I'm gonna say Izuku's pretty smart. In canon, Izuku's pretty smart. I'm gonna make him a little bit smarter, just for this bit. Bakugo says that his quirk is the coolest, and Izuku goes up to Bakugo and says, "My quirk," and says, "No, it's not. My quirk's cooler." Bakugo scoffs and says, "Prove it." So what Izuku does, he walks up to the wall, and then walks up the wall, and then walks onto the ceiling, as if he were just normally walking. Bakugo's looking up like, what the fuck? What? And everybody in the classroom starts freaking out and asking Izuku what his quirk is. Izuku says, "My quirk is gravity manipulation." And when Bakugo hears that, he's like, "Okay, that is pretty cool. But my quirk's still cooler. I can make explosions." I'm still Bakugo, going on his Bakugo bullshit that we all know he would do. Alright, now that bit's over, we're gonna time skip to the end of middle school because I don't know what else to do in between of that. I'm gonna say Izuku is pretty popular in school because, one, he has a quirk. Two, his quirk is actually pretty cool and actually very, very powerful if you really think about it. Okay, I'm gonna rant for a few minutes. That's okay with everybody? Okay. If you have the power of gravity, you essentially have the most powerful ability because gravity is literally everywhere. Even in space, there is still gravity. Because the hell do you think is holding the Earth in place, orbiting the sun? Because if Izuku really tried, I'm gonna say if Izuku was an adult and he really tried, I'm pretty sure he could create a mini black hole or something if he compressed gravity enough. So yeah. Pretty damn powerful. Oh, there's a bird on my window. Oh, well, it went away. Okay. So, yeah. Alright, I'm done ranting. So, yeah. And because I think Bakugo is an asshole, I'm gonna have him still be an asshole. Just so Izuku can mop the fucking floor with him. And knock Bakugo down a few pegs. Which I think that'll be good for him. So yeah. The teacher walks up and says, "Now I could give you these high school application forms." And he says, "But why would I do that? I know you all want to go to the hero course." And he throws the papers up in the air while everybody's using their quirk. Except for Bakugo. I'm gonna say Izuku joins in on that action a little bit and starts floating a few things. Or making a few things float. Then Bakugo gets up and does his little speech. I'm top dog, y'all are shit. Deku didn't like a Bakugo insulting everyone. So Deku decides to, because Bakugo's standing on his desk. So Deku decides to make the desk tip over by making making gravity pull the desk towards the wall with the windows on it. So it tips over, and Bakugo immediately falls on his face. And everybody begins to proceed laughing their asses off at Bakugo, while Bakugo's just laying there getting so pissed off. He jumps up with explosions in the sand, alright, yelling, "Alright, which one of you assholes did that?" And everybody went silent. Besides Midori, who's still giggling a little bit, because in retrospect that would have been fucking hilarious. Walks over to Midoriya, explodes his desk, starts yelling at him. So Midoriya makes gravity pull him towards the ceiling, and he kind of hits his head on the roof and falls back down. Because, like I said, gravity would be pretty powerful. I'm crushing plastic in my hand. I don't know why I'm crushing plastic in my hand. Go away. Get out of here. So, yeah. What is that? 1 second. Okay, I'm back. It was nothing. Something fell over there. Alright. So after that little fiasco embarrassing the shit out of Bakugo and making him even more pissed off than he usually is. Well, I wouldn't say that he usually is, because he's always pissed. Bakugo's default setting is pissed off, so yeah. So yeah, okay. Alright. And then the teacher says, "Alright, everyone. Okay, everyone, settle down. Quirk usage isn't, you're not allowed, or quirk usage isn't allowed in school. So, after school day ends, Midoriya is about to walk out of the classroom. Bakugo struts up with his 2 little goons that he probably forces into submission. So let's be honest, who would want to be friends with him? Besides Kirishima, because Kirishima's bro. And he starts ranting at Midoriya, telling him he'll never be a hero, his quirk is weak, and Bakugo's quirk is the best. Midoriya proceeds to make them very, very heavy, make gravity very, very strong on them. Like, basically, they just kind of fall to the ground and are stuck there. There's a few people left in the classroom. The teacher wasn't there. A few people were still left there, and they were kind of laughing at that, pissing off Bakugo even more. And Deku leads down and says, if your quirk is so great, then use it to get out of this situation, Bakugo. And I'm going to say they're not friends. But Deku's a little smarter in this one, so he realized, hey, Bakugo's an asshole. Why do I want to be friends with him? I don't want to be friends with him. So they aren't friends at all. And so yeah. So Bakugo's starting really mad. So Deku sees that and is like, okay, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go now so he doesn't explode, so he doesn't blow up the entire school. So Deku, I'm gonna say Deku can fly, because he can make himself weightless and like pull himself and push himself away from stuff. So I'm gonna say he can fly pretty well, I guess. So he opens the window and kind of jumps out and floats down to the ground. That's cool. And then once he gets down to the ground, he releases Bakugo from his little paralyzed state that was right there. Bakugo jumps up and looks down at looks down and sees him down there. He starts yelling at Deku to get back here, so Deku proceeds to flip Bakugo off, pushing Bakugo to anger limits that have never been seen before. Bakugo jumps out the window after him, starts chasing him, because I know Bakugo can kind of fly with his explosions. So yeah, I'd say he kind of did that. He jumped down, started explosion flying after Deku. But since they're explosions and they're only propelling him forward, so he can't really control where he's going very well, I would say. Because he's basically flying with little bursts of force going outward. So it'd basically be like All Might's wouldn't it be, was it like the New Hampshire smash that kind of shot All Might back and broke Midoriya's back when they were doing that one test? I feel like it was. So it could be kind of like that, where it can only propel him in one direction. So yeah. So Midoriya starts flying up and going very fast. Because gravity can make you go very, very fast. Going a lot faster than Bakugo. And also something, Midoriya doesn't get sick from his quirk. He doesn't get sick from Ochako, because I would say with having that much control over gravity and doing some really tricky gravity defying tricks with it, you get used to it over time. Because I think, like, Ochako can only lift stuff, make it weightless. She can't, like, make stuff kind of weightless. Like, make things lighter. I think she can, actually, because she made her clothes the light in that one time. I don't know. But he doesn't get sick from using it. So he's flying along. He comes down next to a little bridge. And he thinks to himself, I think I lost him. Jeez. I think I lost him. Those explosions are really loud, so I don't think he can hear anything really when he's flying. So I'm pretty sure Bakugo would go deaf at some point. Is going to go deaf at some point using that much explosions all the time. It's like, I know people get stunned from grenades, like they can't hear for a second because it's a grenade. It's an explosion. It's pretty loud. Bakugo has mini grenades going off in his hands all the time. I'm surprised he's not deaf now. Okay, enough of me ranting. But yeah. So, Midoriya walks under the bridge to go home, because he knows his way home at this point. Then, he hears something. Sounds like a sewer drain. Or sewer grate, or whatever they're called. Something metal hit something behind him. Something metal hit the wall. There was something... Bleh. Learn to speak. Okay. There's something metal behind him that moved. He heard it. So he turned around, only to see the sludge villain coming out of the sewer. And the sludge villain says, I didn't know that freak All Might was here. You kid, I need your body. Now. Midoriya is like, I don't swing that way. Like, I don't. The sludge villain's like, no. I need to control it. He's like, Deku's like, oh, wait, what? That's even worse. Well, it's about the same. But as soon as the sludge villain lunges at Midoriya, he puts his hand out, and the sludge villain immediately becomes weightless. And he's like, what is this? Midoriya does a shoving motion with the hand that he has stretched out, and the sludge villain goes flying. I mean, flying backwards. Like, this man with this, if you were like if you were just walking along, you would see a dark green blur just fly by your face. And I'd say All Might's like in the sky, almost about to land, and he sees that, and he's like, what the hell was that? So he lands, and he sees Midoriya. He says, young man, have you seen a sludge villain around here? Midoriya does his best to keep his excitement in. He's doing a good job at keeping his excitement in, because I'd say he's like Ochako, because Ochako has a gravity quirk, and she loves 13. Because she's been in space and gravity and shit. I don't know. I would say Midoriya likes 13. 13 is his favorite hero as well. So he's doing a good job at keeping his excitement in, even though it is All Might. And he says, yeah, he went that way. He was that blur that passed by. And All Might's surprised by this, because he didn't think that kid could be able to do that to something that, like, do something like that. So he asked how did you do that? Then Midoriya says, well, my quirk is gravity manipulation, so I made him weightless, then used gravity to push him back really hard. And All Might is surprised by this. And then something crossed, well, I'm going to say it crossed both their minds. It says, wait a minute. All Might's like, wait a minute. I was supposed to catch this guy. And Izuku's like, wait a minute. That guy was a villain, and I just yeeted him. A few miles back. And All Might says, I have to go. I have to catch him. Izuku's like, can I help? All Might's like, you can't use your quirk. I'll let you pass with using your quirk that one time, considering it was out of self-defense. But I'm sorry, you cannot help. You cannot interfere with hero work unless you have a license. Midoriya's like, crap. Says, okay, well, here. And Izuku throws him a bottle. Says, when you catch him, put him in that. He shouldn't be able to get away from it. He shouldn't be able to get out of it if you knock him out. In fact, he should be knocked out from that blast. So, there's that. All Might says, thank you. Thank you, young man. And then jumps away. Izuku doesn't grab onto All Might because he's pretty confident in himself, and he is pretty, I'm gonna say he is physically strong. Like, he did have a quirk, so he was very confident. So I would say he was working out, he was training. So he's a little more buff than he was in canon after the aim to pass American Dream plan. So yeah. So All Might jumps off to go catch him. Izuku starts walking home. I'm gonna say the sludge villain getting Bakugo didn't happen because, yeah, sludge villain's gonna be knocked out for a good while after what Izuku just did to him. Because he did get knocked back a few miles from that initial thing. Like, I want to say Izuku knocked him and made him go, like, 300 miles an hour with that one initial knockback. Because gravity. Gravity is very damn powerful. You ever heard of something called a black hole? Yeah, that'll fuck you up real fast. So yeah. We have an overpowered Deku, and I don't care. I like my overpowered Midoriyas. So Izuku makes it home. He greets his mother. And I'm going to say we don't have Fat Inko in this one, because she wasn't very, a little depressed at that Izuku was quirkless. So, she is still Slim Inko. So, yeah. And I'm going to say with the 10 months, Izuku has his week set out. Because I'm going to say that there is, like, an initial 10-month break if you're going to, like, a hero school. There's, like, a 10-month break between middle school and actually, hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to change something. So, there's another YouTuber who did it like this. I think it was, like, I can't remember his name. Give me 1 second. I gotta go remember. I'm sorry, I'm pausing a lot, but I gotta go remember. Okay, I just remember his name. His name was Ravenclaw. What if he does it? He does it where they are like UA is a college basically instead of a high school, because, and I see his reasoning behind that, because it's really the best idea to let high schoolers learn how to be superheroes. Really? High schoolers. the most immature beings on this planet. You're gonna let them go around kicking the shit out of people with superpowers. Good. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, when I said last day of middle school, just change that to last day of high school. Then there's a 10-month break where people who are going to like where they can figure out what the hell they're gonna do with their lives, what the hell college they're gonna go to. And a lot of people are going to be trying to go to hero schools because that is, I would say, that is the top job in that universe. The top, like the job that most people want, besides villains and quirkless people. Because, I'm sorry. So yeah. So I would say during the 10 months, he would have his week set out as Saturday, Sunday, and Monday would study with like would do book studying and stuff, read books and study for academic stuff. And Tuesday and Thursday he would train his physical body, like go to the gym. And Wednesdays and Fridays he would do training with his quirk at Dagobah Beach. Because I would say he did a lot of research to figure out where's the best place I could train my quirk. He ran across Dagobah Beach and he's like, okay, this seems like a good idea. I'm gonna go clean up this beach. I'll be training my quirk, my physical body, and I'll be doing a good thing for the community. So it's a kill 3 birds with 1 stone, I guess. In that instance. So yeah. That's how his 10 months would go. So, alright. And now I'm going to time skip to the entrance exam. I want to say Izuku is like, without the add-on 1 for all, he's about double his physical strength than he would be in canon. And I'd say he's a little taller too. I think in canon he's like 5'4", I think. If he was okay, if his canon height was 5'4", he would be like 5'10", I would say. He's not super muscly. He kind of looks like Ida if Ida was a little more buff and a little shorter. So yeah. He's like 2 inches short. I think Ida's like 6 feet or something. Like 6 feet, 5'11", some shit like that. And Izuku's 5'10", 5'9", around that area. So yeah, he's walking in, and I would say he does not trip because he is a lot stronger and a lot more confident. So he wouldn't meet Ochako in that instance. So yeah, he would score about, I'd say he scored like, in this one, since I said he was smarter, he would score like 3rd place. Momo would be 1st. I think Shoto would be 2nd. And then he would be 3rd. Then Bakugo would get whatever score you got. So yeah. Alright. Onward to the physical part. Or onward to when President Mike was doing his speech. Ida would still do his Ida shit of being an asshole and not letting President Mike finish with the explanation with some dumb shit. Fucking, I'm sorry, I don't like. I think I know they're friends in canon, and Ida got better about that shit, but oh my god, it pissed me off so much when he did that shit. I was like, dude, could you let the man finish? This is the guy who can deafen you without using full strength. Like, come on, man. I don't think this is a good idea. Midoriya is having that exact same thought right now. So, As in the middle of Ida's ranting, Midoriya stands up, yells at Ida to shut up and let President Mike finish before you and yells this. Ida, okay, whoever you are with the glasses, shut the hell up and wait for the man to finish before you do your ranting. Okay? God. Ida hears this and tries to yell at Midoriya, but I think like half the people in the room plus Midoriya give him a death stare, so Ida just kind of sits his ass down and does not talk the rest of the time. President Mike says thank you to Midoriya and finishes explaining everything. Everything's the same as in canon in that part, or with the explanation. Were my headphones not in that entire time? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Well, okay. Sorry if the audio sucked. My headphones weren't in that entire fucking time. Alright then. Should I? Yeah, I'll go. Okay, I'm gonna go to the physical part of the entrance exam. Alright, so everybody's getting prepped up for the gate to open. Midoriya, since he didn't meet Ochako, actually, I'll say Midoriya is still nice. Still nice as he is in canon. Except for that one little except for his little outburst against Ida and all the times with Bakugo. So I'd say he's still nice. So he sees that Ochako is kind of nervous, like really fucking nervous. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go help her cheer up because I'm a nice boy, and he is a nice boy. He is nice. He's like Kirishima levels of bro in this story. I'm sorry, I like Kirishima. He's cool. So yeah, he starts making his way over to Ochako to cheer up. Ida sees this, he starts walking over. Izuku sees this, looks at Ida, gives him another death stare. And so Ida just kind of looks down at the ground, walks away. Midoriya makes his way over to Ochako and says this. You look nervous. Kind of startling Ochako because he came up behind because she didn't expect anyone to come over to talk to her. And she turns around and sees Midoriya and she says, "Yeah, I'm pretty nervous." Is it that obvious? Midoriya says, "Well, yeah, I came over to." Well, yeah. And she says, "Well, it's just really nerve-wracking. This test is our entire future if we get into this school or not. So, I'm pretty nervous." Midoriya just says, "Well, don't be. Have confidence in yourself." I wasn't. There was a time where I wasn't confident at all. Then I just decided to stop letting the bullying get to me and just start being myself. Now look at me. I'm here. And I'm ready. Now Chaco hears this and gets a little bit more confident, and she asks Midoriya what his quirk is. Midoriya says, "My quirk is gravity manipulation. Basically, I can control all aspects of gravity. Hell, I can even fly and walk on walls and ceilings, which is pretty fun." Ochako then says, "Hey, I have a gravity quirk too." Midoriya says, "Huh, it's small world after all. What is it?" My quirk's and then Ochako says, "My quirk's anti-gravity or zero gravity. Basically, I can whatever I touch, I can make float. I can make weightless. But if I overuse it, I throw up." Midoriya then says, "Oh, it's kind of like my dad's quirk, actually." Ochako then says, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, my dad's quirk allows him to touch something and make it really heavy." He told me a story about pulling this prank on a bully in school, where the bully didn't know what his quirk was because he didn't care enough. So he challenged the bully to pick up a pencil. Just pick up a pencil. He said he's telling him that you're so weak you can't even pick up a pencil. The bully gets kind of irritated at this, so he goes to pick up the pencil. Now what he didn't know is my dad touched the pencil. My dad planted that pencil and made it weigh and made it weigh like 2 tons. Well, he made it weigh like 10 tons and put it on the ground. He put the pencil on the ground and made it weigh 10 tons. Ochako's surprised at that. 10 tons? Yeah, my dad's quirk. My dad has a unique thing where he can use his quirk without actually any repercussions to his body. It's pretty cool. I think I inherited that from him because I don't get sick when I use mine. I don't get sick when I don't throw up when I like do some weird parkour shit with my quirk. It's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the story. So he challenged the bully to pick up the pencil. The bully was not able to pick up the pencil. The bully even had a super strength quirk, so he could not even pick up the pen, and he wasn't even able to pick up the pencil whatsoever. Couldn't even make it budge. And everybody, even him, he and everybody else around him was confused. And then my dad pulled this. Then my dad said, "Told you," and then picked up the pencil without any problem, put in his backpack. And everybody was so freaking confused. It was so cool. Like, I'm pretty sure after that the bully stopped bullying him. And it's just one of those stories that just makes you feel better about yourself and better about your dad. It made me feel maybe really it made made me really happy that he was my dad. Right now he's overseas doing work, but I still love him. And Chaco's just kind of looking at him, like, with like the how it's like that face when you see something that's like extremely adorable. And Midori then starts blushing and says, "Did I say that out loud?" And before either of them could say anything else, the gate opens and President Mike says, "There are no countdowns in a real fight. Go, go, go!" And everybody starts running towards. Midoriya says, "Well, see you later. Hope you get in." And starts flying and flies away. It's got Midoriya. He is wreaking havoc on these freaking robots, man. I mean, like, seriously. He lands in the middle of like 7 three-pointer robots and puts his hands out, and they all just kind of start floating and then immediately smack down to the ground, just becoming completely flat on the ground. Like he basically made them weightless and then made them experience the gravity of like the sun. It was so it would and everybody was like really confused about it and really amazed at the same time because that's something you don't really see every day. Just someone picking up 7 robots and making them and turning them into pancakes. But yeah, he's racking up so many points. I think the test like lasts 10 minutes and it's like 9 minutes and there's like 1 minute left. He's racked up a sum of like I would say like 400 points because of his range with his gravity. So he's just kind of up on a building, just kind of swinging shit around. And he has a lot of rescue points too, because if he sees someone about to get in trouble, he just kind of puts his hand out and either pushes the person out of the way or just kind of flattens the robot. So yeah. And then he hears everybody starts hearing like rumbles and looks up and sees the gigantic 0-pointer. Naturally, everybody starts running away and can't, like in canon. And Midoriya thinks, well, taking on that thing is kind of stupid, so I'm gonna get out of here. So Midoriya is kind of vulnerable. He's on a building, and the 0-pointer can like swing his hand and knock over a few buildings. So it's like, yeah, Midoriya's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. So he's about to fly off. But then he takes one look back and sees none other than Ochako, stuck under some rubble, about to get crushed. And he's like, fuck. He's like, damn it. All right. Jumps off the building towards Uraraka and pushes his hands back, blasting him off at like 200 miles an hour. Or not 200 miles an hour, because if he did that, I don't think he would have enough reaction time to stop himself from becoming one with the pavement. So yeah, he makes himself a little heavier so he would fall faster. And once he gets close to the ground, he makes himself lighter, pushes off, and starts rocketing towards Uraraka. Once he gets there, he flings the rubble off of Uraraka by reversing the gravity on the rocks, make them fly up, and then making them fly sideways. He picks up Uraraka, but he wasn't fast. He wasn't fast enough to avoid the robot's gigantic foot. So what he does is he uses his gravity to push on the robot's foot, stopping the robot like he's using his full power at this point. He's using full power at his full power at this point. Or his full concentration on not getting crushed and pushing back against that robot's foot. He's doing a good job at it, but yeah, he was exerting himself during the exam. And the heroes in the booth where they're watching see this, and All Might sees this as well. So he decides to jump out and destroy the 0-pointer with one punch, because All Might's still kind of powerful in this one. He didn't give One for All to Izuku, so he's not being drained of power faster. He still has his injury, but he's not being drained of power as fast as he normally is. So he was able to destroy the 0-pointer and save them. Izuku is pretty exhausted after that, because he was kind of holding back a couple hundred to a couple thousand tons of force stomping on him. So yeah. So after that, Izuku actually kind of passed out because of that. From that, and then next thing he knows, he's waking up in the nurse's office, and he sees Ochako. Next to him, and he gets up. He sits up, and Ochako starts thanking him and asking him if he's okay. Midoriya says, I'm fine. You're welcome, by the way. And then he asks, wait, what's your name? I don't even know your name. What is it? She says, Ochako or Uraraka? Izuku says, well, I'm Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. After that, Izuku grabs his stuff, and heads home. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. Because, yeah, I'll be recording for 45 minutes, so I think that's good. All right. See ya.